up, get out right out of your bed, that's your quicksand. Getting rid anxiety and head, you can fix it. Rid of stigmas, all of them you said, we ain't listening. Just remember, try to do your best, you can win this. Maurice Benard, State of Mind.
Okay, now I'm going to talk here for about before my guest comes on, and it's a very special person on State of Mind. You guys are going to die over this one. I shouldn't say that. If you like what you see, subscribe. It's like I say, thank you for everything, the audience, State of Mind audience. You're probably wondering why I'm wearing 49er shirt.
Well,
it's very simple because they're playing today. So by the time you see this, they're either going to the Super Bowl or not going to the Super Bowl. And this is a Brock Purdy t-shirt, and everybody talks so much negative about Brock Purdy. He's only, last. He was the last in the draft, and he's 19-5 or something like that. And he has more yards than Joe Montana in 1 year. I think he's pretty good.
Go figure.
Yeah, he's been in 2 championships. So anyway, so that's that. I want to say one more thing about me watching these games, and I think I've improved and I've grown in this area. Do you understand that I used to watch the 49ers, especially in the playoffs and Super Bowls, and my hands would shake? Now, that's not really supposed to happen. Your hands shake when something horrific happens. Your hands shake. And since I've been working on anxiety and stress and nerves, now I can watch, and I'm not going to lie, they shake a tiny bit, which is, I guess, normal, but not like this. So I hope today, when I watch, they won't be shaking too much. Okay, who do we have today? This is... what can I say about this actor? First thing I want to say, he's one of the best actors on daytime, but I don't want to say that. I think he's just a great actor. Daytime, nighttime. The guy's done so much that I couldn't even begin to tell you what he's done. And the beauty of this actor is that, and the reason I don't say his name right now is because I like to tease that way. Who is it? Is he's played 2 characters, I think, better than anyone I've seen. Okay? And I'm not going to name other people that have played 2 characters, especially in daytime. But the way this actor does it, that I love, is it's subtle. Usually when you play 2 characters, one's over the top and then the other one's straightforward and then the other one's over the top. But he does it with finesse and subtlety, which is my favorite. So enough ass kissing.
No, please.
Let me bring you in. His name is Jon Lindstrom, and he plays Kevin Collins and Ryan Chamberlain on General Hospital. He's been on Bosch. He's done True Detective, and I want to talk to him about a lot of things. But how you doing, buddy?
I'm good. Wow, thanks for that intro and that beautiful. You want to be my agent? I mean, I got a great agent, but I don't know if they talk about me on the phone like that.
I can sell it.
Thanks, man. It's good to see you.
Good to see you.
Good to see you in the 49ers thing, too.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens.
Yeah. I'm a West Coast guy, born and raised. Always...
Oh, but you like the Rams.
Well, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks, I've always been, Oakland Raiders, I wish they never went to Vegas. That's just kind of a sin to me. But so today, I am a Goff fan. I think that guy has shown himself to be a real.
Oh, I thought you meant golf.
No. I don't play golf.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Okay.
I don't play golf.
Right.
No, Jared Goff. I am a Jared Goff fan.
Fantastic.
You know, that guy has come along, and that team is kind of like the Cinderella story, but so is Brock Purdy.
Right.
So that's what we're seeing today.
Yeah, you are seeing it. I mean, look.
Thanks for doing this early so we can both get out of here.
No, I got 3 more.
Oh, well, I'll let you know. I'll text you.
Only if they're winning.
Yeah. All right.
Well, you know, the Detroit story is much bigger, obviously, because it's a whole city, whereas Brock Purdy is just him. But both stories are great, and we'll let the best man win.
Yeah.
I want to know, like, where you grew up and.
Born and raised in Medford, Oregon, at Sacred Heart Hospital, which is no longer standing. I was raised there. I graduated from high school there. My father was a TV ad man after failing as an actor.
Really?
Yeah. He got a communications degree in Minnesota at the University of Minnesota. He moved west, tried to break in at the Pasadena Playhouse. He went to school there with Shelley Berman, the comic.
Wow.
And Shelley had a career, but my dad didn't. My dad really wasn't much of an actor.
Is that obviously?
He really wasn't very good.
But he kept going, or
no? He took a job. He got word of a job like in Alaska at a TV station, and so he started making his way up. But he was broke, and he wound up in Wairika, California, at the TV station there, which is where he met my mother. They got married. They moved to Medford and spent the rest of their lives there. So, you know, but I dug hard rock and roll.
Oh.
I did the partying and all that, but I did win Best Supporting Actor for one of the roles my senior year. And they had the award ceremony during the lunch period, you know, in the gym.
Yeah.
And they called my name, and I'm out in the parking lot with all the other delinquents.
Oh, really?
Yeah. First time I won an award, and I wasn't even there.
Jeez. And what kind of, it was like just an acting?
Yeah, just, Best Supporting Actor for some play.
I won a dance contest.
Did you? Merengue?
No.
Salsa? What'd you do?
You know, just a regular dance. You know, it was at school, I won. And then I went to the big contest at the Concord Pavilion. And it was like a big deal, right? Like a stadium. And I'm dancing.
Really?
Yeah. And I said, okay, because it was light and daytime, but if you're like the 10th up, it's nighttime, you get lights and everything. I said, just as long as we're not first and it's daytime. And when we were first, and I lost like a mother.
Oh,
that was crazy.
Man. That's impressive though.
No, I can dance. And
you got
dad,
rhythm, yeah.
My dad's a great dancer, yeah.
Yeah, I can dance if somebody shows me.
You met my dad?
I did,
when he was alive?
Yeah, he looked at me and he said, I don't know who you are.
He said that?
He was talking about Kevin and Ryan, you know? Yeah. Yeah, I had a good laugh with him.
He'd watch the show every day.
He was a lovely man. Lovely man. Great. I'm sorry for your loss.
Yeah. So then you went to...
I went to college. I went to University of Oregon, and I dropped out after 2 years because I felt like I didn't want to have that thing to fall back on. I wanted to go to Hollywood. I wanted to be an actor.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do. And I also loved books. I loved films. I was interested in filmmaking and writing and all that stuff. I was interested in that. I did a lot of that in college, started writing like short stories and things like that then. But I dropped out, which is ironic because the following year, the movie Animal House came to shoot at my college. I've got friends who are in that movie that are still collecting residual checks today.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know, had I stayed, I might have gotten a part and hung out with Belushi and Bacon and, you know, and all those guys.
Talk about partying.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You know, you get in trouble there.
Yeah. Yeah. I moved to LA. I came down here to study with Lee Strasberg. I hated it.
You hated it?
Hated it. I just hated it.
Wow.
It just didn't land with me. And I know it's a really useful technique, you know, his method that a lot of people have used very successfully. Right. And I liked my teachers a lot. I worked with an actress named Hetty Sontag, another one named Geraldine Barron. They were great. Lee, I just couldn't click with him.
Was it his, because I didn't know him or anything, but it seemed like his arrogance.
Well, he was a bit of an old bastard. Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, he was kind of an
and
old
I don't
prick.
like that either.
Yeah.
So,
and I don't like that kind of negativity
I'm gonna
around
get in trouble now.
I know we both are, but it just felt kind of negative.
Yeah.
And then I went to study with the kind of the other side of that some years later, being Stella Adler.
Yeah.
And she was just miserable.
Yeah.
She hated actors in Hollywood, hated LA,
John,
hated everybody.
I went
here.
to see her in an auditorium in San Francisco, and there was a African-American actor, and he was doing Streetcar Named Desire on the stage, and she's watching. I'm in the front row watching, and he finishes, and she goes, "My dear, why would you choose Streetcar Named Desire?" He goes, "Well, I feel like, I could do it." And she goes, "My dear, I know Marlon Brando. You are no Marlon Brando."
Yeah. She did teach Marlon Brando.
I know that.
Yeah,
I know that.
Strasberg took credit for it, but she taught him.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's, it's hard for a young actor.
Yeah.
To hear.
Oh, she ripped me apart on stage. And somebody, I went in with my friend Tom Shanley. He's an excellent actor here in town. He's been my best friend for 40 years now. Tom and he wanted to take it. And so we worked up a scene from A Hatful of Rain from that period, right?
Yeah.
And the rule was you couldn't do anything written after 1960. Because that was really her era, Stella's I'm talking about. It was her era,
okay.
It's that 1930s through the 1950s.
Yeah.
So Hatful of Rain and Streetcar and all that stuff. That was like her oeuvre, as it were. And we did this scene, and the people that auditioned you said, "You should do that in class for Stella. Don't change a thing. You guys really did great." We said, well, okay. We're gonna go impress Stella Adler. So we're in class. The place is full. The lights go up. My friend Tom's on stage. I enter. I open up the door and I come in and I go, "Hey, Polo," because he's all strung out. "Hey, Polo, stop!"
Oh, yeah.
Goes Stella. And she stops us.
And just that?
2 words in.
Wow.
And she spent the next 10 minutes ripping me. Now, she had said earlier, "If you like me, call me Stella. If you don't like me, call me Miss Adler." And she got done. And I said, "Okay, Miss Adler." I've got Pacific Northwest tree lumber in my veins. But, it's like, you don't push me around.
Wow.
And it's just,
Did she like that or not like it?
She did not like that.
She didn't.
And the room just kind of went, that collective thing, and we stared at each other for a moment. But she gave me a look in her eye like, "Okay, all right, maybe you do have what it takes."
Yeah.
Because I think she, for all of her miserable bitchiness, she was a brilliant person.
And a teacher.
And an absolutely brilliant teacher. Yeah. And she was the one who really nailed me on the idea of you don't have to dredge up every crappy, shitty thing that happened in your life in order to do a good scene.
Yeah.
Use your imagination.
Yeah.
That's what it's there for.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what, that's how I did this.
Yeah.
Use your imagination, man. So,
especially that is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so, no, I didn't like her. I would never put up with that kind of abuse from anybody. But she did help me turn a corner for myself. And I got it.
Did you keep going after that?
No. I got what I came for, which was use your imagination, not that stuff that I didn't like from Strasberg, which was dredge up your life.
Yeah.
I just don't want to do that.
John, listen.
If it works, fine. But for me, it wasn't healthy.
Okay. Yes. Listen, John. I've dredged it up, as you probably know.
Sure. Because I'm not saying you never do.
No, but I will give you this. And this is a fact. It may have helped me acting wise, but my life suffered.
Yeah.
Like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it. Because I thought, okay, you know, this actor who's this method guy, and that's what I do. But now at 60 years old, I look back and go, oh my God, now I know that shit.
That takes a toll.
It almost killed me.
Yeah. It
John.
took a toll, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's not worth that.
No. But when you're young, John, you think acting's the end all, or fame, or whatever it is. And then now I'm getting emotional with you. God damn.
That's okay. But it is the end all when we're that age.
I know it is.
You know, it's so important to us, and it's so important to do well that we're willing to do anything to ourselves. And remember, especially in Hollywood, we're encouraged, any kind of camera work, whether it's New York or LA, but if you're working in front of a camera, people encourage you to embrace all those ugly things in yourself. Why? Because it reads well.
Yeah.
It comes through your eyes and people relate to it. So it's not that it doesn't have value. It does. But God, it leaves a fucking scar if you're not careful. And you learned that.
Oh, I'm still learning.
You're still learning. Okay.
And
we're still not learning from our mistakes.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I'll just get into it a little bit here. I just had another anxiety attack. I've been feeling kind of weird the last couple of days. I just talk about the last couple. I had an anxiety attack about a month ago that gave me it taught me that I need to fix something desperately. You learn from the anxiety.
Yeah.
It tells you something.
Yeah.
I didn't learn at all my whole life.
That's like your subconscious talking to you, isn't it?
Yes, it is, John. So, you know, I wish I would have learned earlier, but that's the past. That's fine. But I woke up from a panic, and I saw something, and I went, oh no, this is okay. So I've been working on it. In this last couple of days, I've been feeling a weird feeling inside. Nothing, but, and what happens is when you feel the weird feeling, then it goes to your thoughts, and then your thoughts become a bad movie. Right.
Right. Yeah.
So you know, I was feeling it. If I just leaned into it instead of away from it, okay, it would have been different. But I leaned away from it, like, oh shoot, I don't want this here. Why is it here? What's happening? And then it becomes Freddy Krueger, right? So I'm in the car, dropping my son, his music producer, and I just accepted it, and I started to cry. And it went away. Because
is that how you define leaning into it? Right.
It's like you say, just go with it. Don't judge it.
Yeah.
And I started to cry. And then I was good. It was great.
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'm also reading a book and Eckhart Tolle and the whole thing. Okay. Anyway. Back to John, but this is the conversations I love in here, man.
No, but this is fascinating.
I know, man.
This is really fascinating.
This is what it. Now, you when you were young, any mental health, with your family?
You know, I've always experienced depression to some degree, and it took me a while to figure it out. I didn't know. I knew the story, but it really came to roost for me about 2004, 2005, I fell into a very deep depression and was considering ending it.
Really?
Seriously ending it. And, you know, and this is the thing, this is something I learned about suicide.
Yeah.
People who really consider suicide aren't taking an easy way out. They're thinking this is the best way for everybody.
Right.
Now, it doesn't make sense. That's not a logical rationale for the act of suicide, but that is what's going on in your mind. Now, what scared me was my suicides in my family.
Oh.
On my mother's side, my grandfather on my mother's side killed himself long before I ever came along. But he did it in the most unimaginably tragic way. He was a serious alcoholic. And, you know, what family doesn't, you know, have somebody like that? But he was a real bad alcoholic. And my grandmother had divorced him. and taken their 2 daughters, my mother being the youngest of the 2, and left. And my mother, who was only 5 or 6 at the time, was basically having her visitation time with Dad, and heard a shot and went into the bedroom to find him sitting up, having just blown his head out.
Damn.
And with a small caliber weapon.
Yeah.
And she described it to me. I mean, she had real guts to do this, to sit me down one day and say, I'm going to tell you the family history here. You need to know this. And I was only about 10 or so at the time when she told me. But so it took a long time for me to put these pieces together. But she found him sitting up at the edge of the bed. He had just, like with a Derringer or something, and was just slumped like that, still had the gun in his hand. So cut to later, she becomes a mother. I got to give props to her because she didn't become one of those nervous, insecure, clingy people who's always afraid that the people she loves are going to disappear.
Right. She
became an adult and became an adult parent and learned that you have to let people go. Now, she would worry if we weren't around or if we were missing. She would certainly worry like any mother, but she would worry a little bit more. But when I fell, and there wasn't anything bad happening in my life at the time. It was actually going okay. But I was alone and feeling that, and it just would not lift. It was every day, all night. That cloud that is just not hanging over your head. It's like enveloping your head and you can't see through it. You know, the black heart of depression was it was overwhelming. And I remembered I think the thing that kept me haven't thought about this in a while.
This is
but you know, I lost my mother this summer.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
Good life. She was 93.
Oh
yeah.
All right.
But I do believe that it was my awareness of what her father had done and how that has left a legacy in life, because suicide does leave a legacy in a family.
Yeah.
It's an indelible one. You can't remove it.
Yeah.
But remembering that made me go, you know what? I think I better go talk to somebody.
Dang.
You know, I don't want to be the second. My mother was very much alive at that point.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not going to be the second occurrence of that in her life.
No.
So I went to see a doctor and we tried some different drugs, and I finally landed on Lexapro. And
oh shit, me too, bro.
Yeah, Lexapro worked for me. The other ones made me like, you're talking about shaky hands, you know. But I went on it for several months.
Dang.
And you know, when you go into a depression, that's why they call them SSRIs, reuptake inhibitors, you know. Things aren't flowing the way they're supposed to, and you get depressed, and your chemistry changes.
Yeah.
And you can't get the serotonin going again. Your body just kind of adapts to your depression. And the Lexapro helped my chemistry get balanced again. And once it did, I was able to get myself off of it. I was able to wean out of it.
Yes. And How long were you on?
I would say close to a year.
Yeah. 6,
somewhere
7 months,
10 months, you know, maybe. Yeah. And then I weaned off. And I never had to go back. I've never had to go back. Once I got my chemistry back.
Wow. You never had depression?
And then I started getting myself back into the things that I love. You know, I wrote another movie. I went and directed a movie. I did, I think I got offered to come back to GH. I said no. I don't know why.
Damn.
But
how lucky are you that it
I was so fortunate, because this is where you go, information is power. Awareness is power. Education is power.
Yeah.
Knowledge is power.
Yeah.
You know, if she hadn't sat me down when I was a kid, before I could even process it, It took me a long time to process the fact that it's in my family.
Yes.
It's in the line. Be aware of it. Know that it can get you.
Yeah.
And you can do something about it. You don't have to fall back from it.
No.
You can lean into it and tackle the fucker.
Yes.
Which is what I was able to do.
I want to say this right now, which I was going to say it at the end, but I'm going to say it at the end also. What Jon just did right now is so invaluable, I can't tell you. I know it is because I read what people say when people do what Jon just did. You don't know how many people are out there that when this goes to YouTube and comes on, that are on the verge. And they're going to watch what Jon just did and said and not kill themselves.
No, God, I hope so.
No, they trust me. It's so important to talk about this subject.
And without shame.
Without shame. I've had, we both know people who have died recently. And the more we speak, the more it's knowledge, the more people are aware of what's happening. And we're just saying the truth. We're not trying to be, doctors and whatnot, because we're not. We're just telling our lives. But that helps people because then they go, oh, Jon, I can't believe Jon would even think of that. And, he seems like he has it all, like both of us. But that's not the reality.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, I'm a very private guy. I don't talk about
that's what I'm saying,
things in my life. And because I think it makes my job harder. But I really appreciate and treasure what you're doing here. I mean, you've been a spokesman for a long time.
Yeah, long time.
And you've really had an impact on people, man.
Thank you, man.
So thanks for inviting me on. I really wrestled with myself. I wasn't even sure I was going to tell that story until I was sitting here.
Jon,
but you're sitting here being honest about it. I thought, what the fuck? I can't tell.
Jon, it's so important. And I know some people don't want to come in here because they don't want to reveal whatever. That's fun. I can come in here and do an interview and talk about acting and JH and Emmys and whatever you want. But what this is about.
Yeah.
This is for me, and I'm excited now. This is what state of mind. This is what I wanted it to be. Not that it has to be, people. You don't have to come in and give up that. But when it happens, I get moved because I know it helps people. That's all.
Okay.
All right, Jon. Jesus. Criminy.
I love you, brother.
Let's get into. Oh, another thing I want to talk to you about. Now we got the mental health there. You're a musician. You were in a band or something?
Yeah. I was a drummer for a long time.
In the top 100, or?
Well, we were a bunch of unemployed actors is what we were. That's how we got started. And we started playing gigs around town, like birthday parties, and then we started writing songs. One guy in particular, Larry Poindexter, was our lead singer. You've probably met Larry, I'm sure.
Right.
Really good looking dude. Lead singer, wrote most of the songs. Somebody asked us once, you want to play the Central? The Central is where the Viper Room is now. It was this dive club up on the Sunset Strip. He said, we think we can get you a slot there opening for Chucky Weiss on Tuesday night. He plays every Tuesday. And Chucky was this kind of bluesy rock and roll guy. You know him from the Ricky Lee Jones song, Chucky's in Love.
Love that.
That's Chucky Weiss. So we said, yeah, what the hell? We'll take an hour slot before Chucky. We like Chucky's stuff, So we went up there and played, and they booked us back. They said, you want that regular slot on Tuesday night? Because all the young hot actresses in Hollywood, before they were famous, would come and see us play.
Wow.
And all the guys that wanted to ask them out would come and buy everybody drinks at the bar, which is where the clubs make their money.
Of course.
It's at the bar.
Of course.
But we're up there, and I remember hitting the drums, and Larry's in front of me, and the other guys, Jeb Brown, who's like a Broadway mainstay now, Gary Grantham, we call him Gig, Phil Ward on the keyboard. We had a great lineup. But down in front is, and again, before they were famous, Lisa Rinna, Nicolette Sheridan, Mariska Hargitay, Jennifer Aniston, Lisa Kudrow. I mean, they're all there. And they're all in their halter tops, and because it's hot, and their hot pants, and they're all dancing, and Robin Wright, everybody, and they're
what
and we're having a great time because we get to play for all these beautiful young ladies, and pretend we're rock stars, and then we got signed. We got signed to a deal. I think that maybe they just wanted to meet the fans we had. But we got signed, and we cut a record, and we wound up getting, when this was a thing, we had a couple of hits on the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, remember when that was a thing?
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's around anymore.
It's around.
Is it? Yeah. Most added,
yeah.
Which qualifies for that, I guess, when most radio stations add your songs, things like that. So we had kind of a hot start.
So what happens, John? You sign a deal.
I got General Hospital. That's what happened. They actually had to get a substitute drummer for me because I couldn't tour because I was under contract. Yeah. Back in the days, you had to get in a van and drive around the country and play, any club or venue that would have you.
So you couldn't do both.
I couldn't do both. No.
But you chose acting. I
did. Yeah. I chose to sleep in my own bed. I did do some touring. We did, the West Coast of the country, and we went as far east as like Arizona and New Mexico and stuff,
Is there money there?
No.
No money.
No.
But
we never made a dime.
Do you think you could have parlayed that into?
I think if I didn't have GH at the time, I think we could have parlayed it into more of a kind of a rootsy Americana pop kind of thing. Because, again, I mean, we practically all had headshots. We were all pretty good looking young guys that were trying to make it in LA.
And how good of a drummer were you?
Pretty good.
Who's the best drummer in the world?
Right
I ask
now?
this question to all musicians that come in.
Right now?
No, just in life, in history. Because I know somebody, but
I think the best in history was probably Gene Krupa.
Oh.
Yeah. And followed very close second by Buddy Rich.
That's who I say.
Yeah. Krupa just had a technique that nobody else could touch.
All right.
And then when you get into kind of our contemporaries,
John Bonham
was, nobody played like Bonham.
But why? No. What did he do?
First of all, it was his bass drum. He could do more with one pedal than most guys could do with two. Oh. There was something he could do that kind of thing with one foot. But he also used ride cymbals for crash cymbals. He would go to these caves in New Zealand with these special drums and record his drum tracks, like the album Houses of the Holy. All of those drum tracks he did in New Zealand without the band. Dang. They recorded together, so he got all the other instruments down, and then he took all these drums and went to New Zealand and recorded them in these caves. Wow. So they have this massive sound behind him. Bonham was great.
He killed himself.
The late Neil, he drank himself to death. That's a case of a terrible alcoholic. Neil Peart from Rush, late great Neil Peart.
Right.
I will say one of my best friends, Don Perry, played with Jethro Tull for 40 years or something. Don is up in that pantheon. So, and I've had because of Don, I've had the chance to go see these. In fact, he's been trying to get the original picture because he and I went to the very last Rush concert. It was down at the Forum. And there's all these pictures, shot from like the stage out to the audience. And there's me and Don down there, like in the fourth row or something. But we went to the party afterwards, and somebody wanted a picture of all the drummers that were there. And somebody said, hey, John, because they all knew that I played. They knew me as an actor, but they knew that I played. And they said, Jon, you should get in the picture. I'm like, guys, no, get over here. Just, get on the end. So I get on the end. Now this picture is Neil Peart, Stuart Copeland from the Police, Taylor Hawkins from the Foo Fighters, God rest.
Oh, yeah.
Chad Smith from the Chili Peppers,
Wow.
Doan Perry, a couple other people. And then there's me, right? Wow. And now there's a picture of all of us that Doan is trying to find, because the picture that was published is all those guys and my elbow.
Oh,
so if you see that picture from the last Rush show with some guy's elbow, that's me. That's my elbow.
That's funny. Wow. And that's too bad, because you'd like to at least have it.
Yeah. So he's been trying to get it. Neil sadly passed a few years ago, right before COVID.
So let's get into GH.
What's that?
Yeah, just a small little show. You do those two roles. Like, are you ever in a scene and go, oh shit, I was playing the other dude for a second?
No. No. Even when it was Ryan pretending to be Kevin, pretending to be Ryan, pretending to be Kevin. No, I never got them confused. I knew exactly.
But Jon, there are just recently, there are times where I'll go, because everything's out of order.
Right.
So I'll go, oh, I just played that wrong completely, because what I'm supposed to do is from that. You get it?
Yeah, there are times, and I think that's true for all of us. In every medium, primetime, features, daytime, especially daytime now, the way we have to blow things up.
That's what I'm saying.
And we have a much shorter season than we ever used to.
Yeah.
Everything's out of order. So yeah, there are emotional notes that you get confused about.
Yeah.
And you just hope you do it right. Hope the editors cut it together in a way that they get your look, or cut away from your look because you're given the wrong one.
Sometimes they don't say anything.
We got some pretty great editors on that show.
But I do feel, like how you do two characters in a subtle ways. I love it, man.
Thank you. And that has been the highlight of my career. I mean, everything that I've ever experienced since I started almost 32 years ago. I know, I was there ahead of you.
You were there before me?
I was there before you. I remember meeting you. You're like your first day on stage.
Probably like.
You were pretty quiet. That was Wendy Rich. I was standing on stage ready to go in, and Wendy said, "Oh, Jon, I want you to meet our new cast member." I turned around, and it was you.
Wow.
Yeah. I think, well, he seems like a nice guy. Pretty quiet though, Wendy. All he did was kind of go, no, it's worked out. But everything, so much good has come to me and for me, professionally and personally, because of my association with General Hospital and those two characters.
Yeah.
It's really, it's given me creative satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's given me financial freedom. It's given me virtually everything. And now I have the opportunity to do all these other things that are kind of a direct result. I was on a movie. It's funny, I got cut out of the movie because they cut like this whole subplot that I was involved in, but it was a shooting Boston Strangler in Massachusetts. And it's my last day. And I remember, and we're all shooting, during COVID with all these masks. And Chris Cooper comes up to me. I'm a big fan of Chris Cooper's work. I mean, it's unbelievable actor.
Fantastic actor.
Oscar winner. We have the same coach, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Bob McAndrew. If you're a young actor, look for bobmcandrew.com. He's in New York. He'll change your life. He did mine. But Chris comes up and he's wearing the mask, and he goes, "Hey, Jon, how many pages do you guys do?" That's always the question you get. The other one is, do you guys use cue cards? No, we don't use cue cards.
Is it just one take?
Yeah, it's one take. It's only one take. But he says, "How many pages?" And I said, if your story's really cranking, probably 20 or 30.
Yeah.
Is that about right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, his big blue
day,
eyes, you know, and he's kind of like that. And I said, but I will tell you, my worst day was 120 pages. I think he thought I was lying to him because he just kind of went, oh, and he walked away.
That's ridiculous.
But it was a special situation.
I understand, John, but that's just too many pages.
It's too many pages. And it was a day when I had to play the twins talking to each other. So it was 60 pages, but I had to do everything twice.
Oh, that's right.
I'm doing everything twice. So it's 120 pages that I got to deliver. And it was only me all day long. They just scheduled it. So, that, I mean, the whole set was cleared except for the nurse's hub and the one set that I was working at.
John,
it was so weird because that big, huge, that's the biggest sound stage in the country, where we shoot.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The only sound stage bigger than that is the James Bond stage at Pinewood.
Damn.
Did you know that?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's why everybody wants that stage.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they ran it out.
I just thought it's kind of normal stage.
No. I've worked on a lot of stages. That one's huge.
Yeah.
The other ones are kind of puny. But yeah, that's how I wound up having to do 120 pages in one day. So Chris, if you see this, I wasn't lying. Yeah. I just didn't have time to tell you the rest of the story.
Chris, it's too many pages.
It's too many pages. Trust me.
So
you don't want to do that.
Two last things I want to talk to you about. I read something that Katie McLean, the wonderful Katie McLean, who I worked with in All My Children, also incredible director and the whole deal now. She wrote something about you somewhere in a Instagram thing. And I thought it was just beautiful, man. I mean, I know it's, you know.
Well, you know, I don't like to go into my personal life, but if she put it on Instagram, it's nothing I can do about it. You know, Katie's the dynamo genius. You know, I mean, she is, and I do believe that she is some kind of a genius.
Yeah, she's,
you know, she is one of those people that what she does creatively or just personally is just at the kind of level that it can't help but raise the rest of us up.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, she does remind me to keep my standards high. Because I would skate if I didn't have her example. I would.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, she was that way on All My Children.
She's just that gifted, though.
Yeah, you can tell that mind goes.
Her mind goes to places that the rest of us just don't. You know, so she's just, I don't know. She's just a really gifted human being.
Maybe I can get her in here. She's more private.
She's more private than I am. So.
Your book, Hollywood Hustle.
My book.
Now, I believe this book should be a movie.
Really?
Just from reading a bit, I said, I would want to see this movie. But that's just.
Well, I think, you know, I will say.
Hollywood Hustle, just the title.
That wasn't my title, actually.
Oh, wow.
No, but I like the title.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with it. No, my title was actually Hollywood Ending, and which I think is a good title. Good title, but kind of a little bit of mystery to it and all that. But the marketing people at Penguin Random House said, "No, that sounds like the end of a series."
Mm-hmm. I like.
Oh, you know what?
Yeah.
I think you're right. This is why you do what you do, and I do what I do.
Right.
You know, listen to the pros.
Yes.
There's a reason they do this for a living. Just don't argue with them. So. But I will say that just being such a lover of movies, especially noir films, especially LA noir stories, people ask me where that came from. And I go, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dead bodies in it, but I don't know. I don't think I can write anything without kind of seeing it as I'm writing kind of unfold in my mind's eye as a movie. So that might be why you see it that way. But other people are saying that too. They're saying this would translate well on the screen.
Yeah, like the gangs and the kidnapping. I'm into all that stuff.
Are you?
You know how much I watch Dateline and
do you?
all those shows?
Oh, I love that show.
Almost to the point, John. That's why I would love. I can't wait. Almost to the point where I start like turning it off. because I think this is just too much.
Too much.
Like one after another.
Brain overload.
Yeah, the
crime overload.
Yeah, yeah. And it's kind of, but in movies, that's the kind of movies I like also.
Yeah.
I mean.
Yeah, like Saturday nights, I stay home and I watch Noir Alley on TCM.
Oh, yeah.
See, Ken Schreiner's watching at the same time. He watches all that too.
Ken's crazy.
But yeah, the book drops on February 6th. I'd love to hear if you think it should be a movie. You can pre-order it now. But somebody asked me, who do you see as Winston Green, the main character? And I thought, Kevin Bacon's a good. I describe Winston as being reminiscent of Steve McQueen. And that early in his career, he was pitched as the new McQueen.
Yeah.
And I think Bacon's got that kind of stuff. Yeah. I love McQueen too. I make a lot of references to him and Bullet, my all-time favorite cop movie.
Gene Hackman in that's my
French Connection. Yeah. That's a balls out movie.
Yeah.
And that's a kick-ass flick.
Well, everybody should go. When is it? When's it come out?
February 6th.
February 6th.
And I recorded the audio.
Let me see it.
Yeah.
February 6th, Hollywood Hustle by Jon Lindstrom. This book is phenomenal. Get it. I hope one day soon it's a movie.
You and me both. From your lips, my friend.
All right. I'm going to talk to the audience for a second about this interview, and then that's it, bro. You did it.
Thanks,
man.
You
were phenomenal.
Thanks for having me here.
No.
This has been great. This is the most we've been able to hang out in
a
while.
But John, that's what happens in here.
Yeah.
Leslie Charleston, I never talked to her. I never talked to her. You have probably, but I haven't.
Yeah.
And in here, she's talking about suicide, and we got to know each other.
Nice.
Because, we're in our own little bubble sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you and I have talked, but we're in our own little bubble. All right. I just want to say, I want to end this on off the cuff that I always do about, whatever I want to say at the end. John came in here and just gave a piece of his soul. And when you do that, I know, like I said earlier, there's somebody over there somewhere watching, and because he did what he did, they may not do what they think they should do. And that's what this is all about. And I appreciate it, John, because I didn't know what we were going to do in here. You never know, but this is very much appreciated.
It's my pleasure, man.
State of mind. Thank you, brother.
State of mind. Thanks, pal.